In my previous Emerald Steel video, many of you made a comment around wanting to see the deck list. Well, here it is. Linked in the description and in the info card of this video is a link to that video where we showed how Cheshire Cat from the shadows absolutely decimated the opposition. It just completely locked down the opponent in combination with all of the different damaging cards that we have. And it's a perfect complement with Emerald Steel to use with the new beast that readies every time an opponent's character is damaged. So this is the deck list that we've used, and we're going to show two pretty nice matches, in my opinion, if you stay tuned, of how this deck functions. So you can see that we don't really focus too much on the lower end of the curve. We're actually gearing up to deal as much damage, pinging damage, right? Hit him for 1 here, hit him for 1 there, hit him for 2 there, hit him for 3 here, etc. So that we can utilize Beast to ready multiple times and challenge or quest, as well as the Cheshire Cat to just tap and banish. It's a pretty effective deck. I didn't think it would be as good as it is, but I think I am 4-0 with it in the lab right now. Haven't lost yet, going first and second. It's been pretty good. So before we jump into the match, if we quickly take a look, Hook is probably like one of the best 1-drops in the game, so you're playing 4 of him as your only 1-drop. Enchantress and Flynn Rider are both great 2-drops. They both quest for 2, being a 2-cost character. And the Enchantress, if it's not banished with like a card that just banishes it without challenging, if your opponent has to challenge it, it becomes a 3-1. Flynn Rider, obviously, if they challenge it, they discard, which is pretty good. Opting to throw in some Eric for additional level 2 bodies, along with the Robin Hood, which is actually a really amazing card in this deck because you just exert it, deal 1 damage to anything, and then you can finish it off. You can ready your beast from that. You can banish whatever it is that you put the 1 damage on with the Cheshire Cat from the shadows. So there's a lot of utility there, which is really nice. If we move on, of course, we're playing the Cheshire Cat because that is your shift target for the bigger Cheshire Cat. And you can make an argument to say you want to play 4 of the big Cheshire Cat, but I don't really want to be inking him early on in the game, so that's why we're only playing 3. 4 Tinkerbell as a shift target for big Tinkerbell. No need for Cinderella in this build, I found, but again, that might change. 3 of the new beasts that when you play it, it deals 1 damage to an opposing character. Just 3 of those, it's pretty good. The new legendary steel beast is also pretty good in my opinion, but maybe not for this build. I haven't tested it out just yet. 3 Hans, yes, going back to a very slow old school character from chapter 1, but it puts pressure on your opponent when they see this card hit the field. They have to remove it if you also have a Cheshire Cat and a beast on field. And so obviously they'd rather remove those threats, but sometimes they can't, and they can focus on maybe just smashing or exerting resources to get the Hans off the field. 4 of the beast, that's your main kind of engine piece. Your main win condition is just, using beast to ready and quest multiple times. Now, I've seen people use this in the wrong way, in my opinion, and you'll see if you watch these matches how I use it, and I'll explain why you don't want to overcommit into this. If you only quest twice with it, that's fine. It's not meant to win you the game in 1 turn. It's meant to put pressure on your opponent and just be a threat on board. You have many other cards that can help you win the game. 4 Tinkerbell, no need to explain that, and 3 of the Cheshire Cat, we already went over that. Now for your spells, or actions, you have damage cards. You have 3 Fire the Cannons, 3 Smash, 3 of the new, I don't even know what it's called, the song from Mulan that deals damage based on how many characters you have in play, and it can be sung by a 3-cost or higher character, which is really good. 4 Grab Your Swords, still, one of the best sweepers in the game. Even though it only deals 2 damage, it's really significant. And then 4 Whole New Worlds to just wheel away any advantage your opponent might generate in their hand, when you deal against those, or face up against those Amethyst decks. And then the overall count is 46 inkables and 14 uninkables. And you have just below, maybe like a 70-30% ratio of steel to emerald cards. So obviously we're majority a steel. So let's go ahead and take a look at some matches and see how this deck fared out in these next couple of matches. All right, in this first matchup here, we're going second once again with an all-steel hand, just like the video I linked in the description where we showcased how powerful the Cheshire Cat is. But the opponent starts off with a Minnie Mouse, and most likely they're on the exact deck I just showcased in my last video, which is the Ruby Amethyst kind of aggro bounce deck, and you're going to see just how effective we can be against it. So despite not having any of our 2-drop emerald cards, that's fine because this is why we build the deck this way, right? We have the Hook, we have the Eric, and they put a lot of pressure on the opponent to say, hey, you want to go aggro? That's fine. My cards are going to trade up against yours. That's totally okay. So they opt to quest with the Minnie Mouse, and that's just an instant -1 because Hook or Eric will instantly take that out. Same with the Pinocchio if they can't protect it or bounce it. So we do have to end up inking some of our emerald cards here, which is again again, one of the reasons why I don't want to run 4 from the shadows, because I don't want to use it as ink. I want to be able to shift into it or just hard play it. But your goal with this deck is to just, kind of like what Emerald Steel does, just get as much out on board as possible, get your shift tink out, and then sing the Grab Your Swords and Whole New World, and just decimate the opponent's board, maintain control of the board, and then just reset the hands. And it's just so powerful, it's ridiculous. So the opponent is opting to say, okay, they're willing to overload a little bit with the lore quest, because they said they have card advantage. And at this point, I'm like, I'll take discarding my Grab Your Swords, because it's a 2 discard for me. I've got 3 cards on board, you got 0. I'm in control of this match. What are you going to draw into that's really going to stop me? I think nothing. And sure enough, the opponent reveals that they're on the Shere Khan challenge. I don't want to call it shenanigans, because it probably is a legit card, but you know, it's not going to work against us here. So you can see already how, even without having the beast on field, how powerful this deck is. Just like being able to ping stuff constantly, just keeping the opponent off everything. And it deals with aggro, which is what I love, because as a Ruby Amethyst player in real life, I didn't face much Amber Steel locally, but it is a tough matchup. I think I only faced one twice, and I lost one and I won one match against a pretty good player. Jeremy, shoutouts to you if you ever see this. And it's a tough matchup for us. And so just having a deck that can really deal with that aggro strategy is really, really nice. So much for your Cinderella singing those songs on turn like 1 or 2 or whatever, right? I'm just going to ping it away and get it off the board. So here you can see my opponent is attempting to match me going wide. And it's crazy to think that even after this reset on an Amethyst deck that drew cards off of Merlin, etc., we're still outpacing the opponent here. And we can reset the hands again if we wanted to. But you can see all of the potential damage outlets we have here. We have Tinkerbell challenge Pinocchio to deal 2 damage to something. We've got Fire the Cannons. We've got the Robin Hood. And we've got Hook and Eric in case anything else was exerted also. So you can see here, like, we just absolutely decimated the opponent's entire board. We are in absolute complete control, and this was when we were on the play as well, right? We went second. So that's how powerful a Whole New World is. It really resets the tempo. If you played at the right time, you can gain control of the match, no problem. And at this point, the match is pretty much over. I don't think there's anything the opponent can possibly do. Yeah, you're not going to be able to draw enough cards and play your threats in order to deal with my board. I mean, maybe you can draw yourself into a Be Prepared, but that's about it. Right there, the beast was like glitching out, but I'm pretty far ahead right now. Yeah, the beast is going to ready itself. Unfortunately, you can't Tinkerbell take something out, deal damage, and like beast quest in between. You have to do the Tinkerbell sequence in one motion, so you only get one ready off beast there. But again, you can see that here, I think that's 3 different quests with the beast. At this point, I'm not even worried about like getting Maui'd or Rafiki. Nobody really plays Rafiki anymore with Madam Mim Fox out. But I opt to say, let me Whole New World in case you drew into a Be Prepared. And I'm like, okay, you definitely drew into a Be Prepared this time, right? But again, I'm totally fine because I have some threats I can throw on board and win the game, even after you Be Prepared. And I'm feeling pretty confident. But the opponent doesn't have it, and that's just game, so they just scoop it up right there. Now, in this next matchup here, we're going to be putting back a few different cards because we actually want to draw some of our cards to play on curve. And sure enough, we do. We draw the Captain Hook, the Tinkerbell, which is a good shift target. But again, you have to be a little careful not to play too many of your Inkables, because 14 Inkables may not seem like a lot, but really all it takes is to have 2 or 3 of those in your opening hand. And as you can see, I got 2 of them right now, and you're in big trouble. We drew a 3rd on Inkable, so now we have a Whole New World, which is what we want to see. That's actually good, but we have to make sure that we can continue to play on curve. If I draw another on Inkable next turn, I'm in trouble. And how funny that this opponent is also on that red mini. Card seen a lot of play for some reason, but they're on Christmas, I guess you can call it, right? Ruby Emerald, which is really interesting. They ink a Tinkerbell in past turn. This Robin Hood is going to put on a lot of pressure in combination with the other damaging cards we have. So unfortunately, we drew a Fire the Cannons, which is also uninkable. So 3 uninkables drawn in a row, I think there. And we have to ink the big Tinkerbell in order to continue to play on curve. Some of you might say that's a big misplay. I should have maybe inked the small Tinkerbell, kept the big Tinkerbell, or not inked anything and just wait so I could play properly on curve. But I am just focusing on shutting this opponent down. And with my hand, I know I can continue to do that as long as I draw inkables And I'm like, I just drew 3 uninkables. I'm pretty confident that I'm going to be able to draw non-inkables. And if I don't draw uninkables, I have the Tinkerbell to also help me unbrick my hand. So that was the thinking there. Maybe it was right, maybe it was wrong. Who knows? In this situation, it's turning out okay. Look at this. The opponent drops Double Fin Rider, and I'm like, yep, I just need an inkable. And again, I have the Tinkerbell to help me fish for one if I don't draw one. And I'm just going to 2 for 1 off of the Grab Your Swords. That felt really nice. And now, as long as the opponent doesn't have a discard action in their hand, this whole new world is going to put in an absolute shift next turn from being hard cast. The opponent reveals Mini. So they're on obviously like an evasive deck here, maybe focusing on Minnie Mouse. Maybe they're a fan of it. That's pretty cool. But yeah, we make them discard Mother Knows Best, Genie, and an evasive Ray, which is really nice. Then we're going to take care of the Mini with the new song. I forget what it's called, but it's from Mulan. It was a pretty cool song, actually. So that card, it deals damage to your opponent's character or a chosen character. Could be your own too if you want, based on the number of characters you control. So I dealt 3 damage to that Shift Evasive Mini, and took it out. Now my opponent replays 2 more minis, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to smash the evasive Mini. And again, you can just see how much pressure we are putting on the opponent here. It's absolutely crazy. I'm going to quest with both the Robin Hood and the Tinkerbell, and now it's 11-1, and I'm just like, best of luck, buddy. I don't think you're going to be able to stop me, because once my Beast hits the field, it's going to be a field day. And you're going to see how powerful Beast is. It's almost like, I don't want to say it's a win more card, but like once it hits the field, if you have the proper setup for it, it is so insanely good. Like, it's ridiculous. So first of all, we're going to drop this Tinkerbell and make a huge mistake, because I'm like, I meant to shift that, because if I shifted it, I would have been able to challenge the Minnie Mouse, deal 2 damage to the Genie, then tap Robin Hood and finish off the Genie, once again wiping out my opponent's board. But of course, I make a misplay and don't shift, but it's totally fine because it's 11-2. So even if the opponent quests with the Genie a bit, it's not going to be a big deal. But it does, slow me down a little bit, which is unfortunate. The opponent plays the new evasive Flynn Rider that gets lower based on how many cards I have in my hand. If I have none, I think he gets like +3 or +4 or something, which is crazy. But we're not too worried about that card because we have a whole new world ×2 in our hand. So again, as long as we're not discarding cards from the opponent's effects, we should be a-okay. I'm going to opt to just quest with the Tinkerbell only and pass turn. The opponent is now on 8 ink, and they are going to opt to, let's see, drop a big Cheshire Cat. And I'm like, okay, they're going to probably challenge with the Genie, I guess, because they got to slow me down lore-wise. Yeah. Now they have 3 damage on their Genie. And Finn, I keep calling him Finn, but it's Flynn, right? Quest for 2 and passes. I draw Fire the Cannons, and I'm like, okay. I'm going to quest with the Beast, ping the Genie for 1 to finish it off, ready the Beast, quest with the Beast again. Now I can just fire the cannons on anything, but probably the Cheshire Cat. I'm like, wait a minute, no, I want to ready up the Beast. So yeah, I can win the game, I know, guys, but I'm testing, right? That's the whole point. We're testing. So I sing the whole new world with the Tinkerbell. I've readied up the Beast for playing the fire cannons, and then I've quested with it, now going to 19. Play the Steel Beast to ping the Cheshire Cat for 1 again. Then ready, I could have readied up the Beast or quested with the Beast more and more there. And then finish it off with the Smash, and I could have readied up the Beast again. So again, you can just see how insane this deck is once you get the combo rolling. But yeah, I went over. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like and drop a comment. Thank you if you made it this far, though. Quantum is out.